Good morning and welcome to the Mayor's Weekly News Conference. Today we will announce our next neighborhood strategic planning process in the Collegiate Academy neighborhood, provide a reminder of lights over Lake Erie and the ordinances that are in effect related to fireworks, celebrate Pride Fest, and reflect on the People's Summit and explain next steps. And now I'll turn it over to the Mayor.
Thank you, Renee, and good morning, everyone. Welcome. It's good to have you all here. Today, we're again focusing on several elements of our vision for Erie. The first vision element we'll be talking about is creating welcoming, vibrant neighborhoods. The city's comprehensive plan, which is called Erie Refocused, provides guidelines for all 17 of the neighborhood planning areas in Erie. My team and I are committed to creating neighborhood plans for each one of these areas. Last year, during the Summer of Hope door-to-door campaign in our East Bayfront neighborhood, my team and I had many very good long-term residents we met. However, those residents had also lost hope. Under the Count Me In program, neighborhood residents are now conducting an in-depth door-to-door survey in Erie's East Bayfront neighborhood. We look forward to hearing the results of Count Me In. Today, though, we're going to announce our next neighborhood strategic planning process in the neighborhood that Erie Refocused refers to as the Academy Marvintown neighborhood. This neighborhood is to the south and east of Academy High School. To explain next steps in this process, I'm very happy to invite City Planner Kathy Rosnick to the podium. Kathy.
Good morning. Very excited to be talking about our second neighborhood strategic planning effort. As the mayor mentioned, last year we started in the East Bayfront neighborhood. We spent a lot of time, most of the month of July, talking to people, about 400 people who live in the East Bayfront neighborhood. And we will be giving you, in the next couple of weeks, we'll be giving you a complete update of the outcomes of that strategic plan. And one of them, as the mayor mentioned, was the Count Me In initiative, and we'll have more information on the outcomes of that initiative as well in a couple of weeks. But today we're going to talk about the second neighborhood that we're going to be starting on. This was a recommendation from Erie Refocused that we take a look at all 17 planning areas that encompass the entire city. Once we started about a year and a half ago with the city of Erie, we were determined to create a model of how we could do that. And that it was clear that model needed to start with really very significant and focused community engagement. We wanted to build a plan and strategies that were highly informed by the residents and the people who live in those neighborhoods. So in East Bayfront, we started door-to-door knocking on people's doors, working with the neighborhood groups that live and work in those areas. And the Academy Marvintown neighborhood area is no different. We will be working the next 6 months primarily with residents, community stakeholders. We have a number of meetings already scheduled with businesses and churches and schools throughout the neighborhood. We're working very closely with the Academy Neighborhood Watch Group, and under their strong leadership, and Bob Hand is the president of that Neighborhood Watch Group. They've been exceptionally helpful already in the process. So over the next 6 months, we're going to be working. We'll do some door-to-door knocking, talking to residents on their porches. We're going to be hosting some community engagement meetings. We already had one kickoff meeting last week, but we're starting with a property conditions survey. So we wanted to get a baseline of exactly what are the conditions that the neighborhood is in today. We worked very closely with our code enforcement officials to develop a survey that would be important for us to understand what is the state of the housing stock there. And one of the code enforcement officers is here today, but I won't point him out because he probably doesn't want to talk on camera. But I have to give that gentleman a lot of kudos. He was very, very helpful in talking us through how we create this survey. It's an online survey. We're coordinating that with Erie County Planning and their data center. So we will have maps, will automatically be mapped, and we'll be able to provide immediate feedback to the residents on exactly what we're finding. We started this, we did have a launch. We've had a training for this property condition survey. We only have 7 volunteers, but we do appreciate the volunteers that have already stepped up. We do need more volunteers, though, to help with this survey. So Currently, the volunteers include Alexa Pierce, Olivia Pierce, Penny Haynes, Michelle Totenbaum, Janina Lee, Jay Brenneman, and Bob Hand, but we could use more. If you are interested and you live within the neighborhood, let me tell you exactly what Academy Marvintown includes. It's about 6,300 people, and if you live between State and Brandeis Avenue, East 26th to about East 33rd, we would love to get your help in not only doing this survey, but also the door-to-door survey that will come a little bit later. If you want to help, we encourage you to reach out to Bob Hand at the Academy Neighborhood, and you can reach him at academy.neighborhood.erie@gmail.com, or you can reach out to Paul Kinsilla, who is also here. He's the summer intern who's working with the city this summer. And that's P. Kinsilla, CANCILLA, at erie.pa.us. I'd also like to point out that we are also relying heavily on Aaron Carey, the Mayor Cora Vista, who's been with us for a year, to really work very closely with residents and get what we believe will be a very meaningful plan for Academy Neighborhood. The three areas that we will focus on, or four areas, excuse me, that we will focus on as we continue to develop this plan, we'll look at housing and property issues. We already talked about the property condition survey, infrastructure repair and maintenance of things like streets and sidewalks, neighborhood crime and safety, and a community vision. So what those community people who live in that neighborhood, what do they really want to see happen in that neighborhood? We also encourage anyone who wants to know more about the planning effort to attend office hours at the Academy Neighborhood Center, which is located at 3025 French Street. It is open Mondays 6 o'clock to 7:30 in the evening every Monday. There you'll find the maps, you'll find the outcomes. Those maps will continue to evolve. Bob has been very good. There's probably about 10 there now. But as we go through this process, you'll be able to find information online. We'll get information on community meetings through the news, and the newspaper, and the media. We'll continue to update you through the press conferences, and then we'll have physical meetings, and we'll have the information available at the Academy Neighborhood Center. So this is the start of what will be a 6-month process, as I noted. So please stay tuned and provide as much input as you can. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Kathy. I appreciate it. I look forward to going door to door in the Academy Marvintown neighborhood next month. Talking to residents is one of my favorite things to do as mayor. Once we hear their ideas and their concerns, we will develop a plan for the Academy Marvintown to make it even more welcoming and vibrant than it already is. And it already is pretty welcoming. Next, I'd like to bring up Aaron Wonke to talk about fireworks, which will occur next week on July the 3rd. Aaron.
Thanks for having me come in today, Mayor. I just wanted to say July 3rd, coming up this Wednesday, we have a 10 p.m. fireworks display right at Dobbins Landing at the Bicentennial Tower. So just wanted to go through some details here, and just keep in mind all this information will be available at lightsoverlakeerie.com. But Star 104 will be live broadcasting music synchronized to the fireworks. So thanks to Star for doing that. They'll be down there, and we'll start at 10, like I said. The show should last about 15 minutes. And the best viewing locations, we have a few suggestions. You can go right down to the tower at Dobbins Landing. There's public areas along the waterfront as well. You could see it from the Bluffs. East side and west side of State Street, the Bluffs would be a great way to see the show, and also across the bay at Presque Isle. So all those are options for you to check out the fireworks. Just some parking recommendations. So we're just asking that we recommend that parking south of the Bayfront Parkway, just so we don't get too congested down there. We can get traffic flow moving. So if you park south of the Bayfront Parkway and make your way down to the tower, that would be the preference. Keep in mind the UPMC Hammett parking ramps will be closed for the public to see the show. They need that for the hospital needs. And handicap accessible parking will be available at the convention center lot. In addition to that, new this year, EMTA will be providing a shuttle service from 7:30 to 10:30 p.m. The shuttle service is meant for those with disabilities and transportation needs, and it'll make a loop from the Intermodal Transportation Center, where there will also be handicap parking available, east end of Perry Square on French Street, and then going up French on 8th, 9th Street, take you down to Dobbins Landing after that. So they'll have the lift buses there going out. I just want to make some thank yous to ECRA, who helped fund this as well. Of course, Mercyhurst University, who is our primary sponsor with this, making this all possible. The Port Authority has been great to work with, so thanks to them and their cooperation, and our city staff, police, fire, and public works, making this a safe and successful event. So again, all this information is available online at lightsoverlakeerie.com, so feel free to check that out, and we hope to see you on Wednesday. Thank you.
Aaron, if I remember last year, there were a lot of boats out in the bay too, watching the fireworks. That's another nice way to watch it.
Just stay out of the safety radius.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. And you thanked me for letting you come in today. I just would remind you, you're a full-time employee, so you can come in every day. You know, it's last year's fire by Pyrotechnica were really fantastic, and we look forward to another exciting display for residents and visitors to enjoy this year. It's a wonderful opportunity for all of us to celebrate together. I also want to thank Mercyhurst University and especially President Michael Victor for being such a great partner in putting these fireworks together. While we're on the subject of fireworks, I want to remind everybody that there are state ordinances that still prohibit lighting of fireworks within 150 feet of any structure. That makes it illegal to set off fireworks in practically every Erie neighborhood. Also, according to the city code, fireworks and explosives are prohibited from city parks as well. So if fireworks are taking place in your neighborhood this coming week, please call the police non-emergency number, which is 870-1125, and provide the address where the disturbance is occurring, and the police will investigate it. Again, that's 870-1125. Another important part of our vision for Erie is celebrating our rich cultural diversity. I want to live in an Erie where diversity is valued by every one of us. Every person deserves to be treated with dignity and respect. To make residents feel safe and accepted, we have once again flown the pride flag here at City Hall. We've adopted the Rainbow City Seal, which you can see, if you haven't seen that before, is there. During the month of June, we also light the fountain with the rainbow colors. We've also painted a crosswalk in the South Park Row and Perry Square intersection, which is actually this year, it's the Philadelphia Pride flag, which also includes the gender community and people of color. So it's even a more inclusive flag. This year is the 50th anniversary of the Pride movement in the United States. I'm proud to join in Erie's Pride celebration. It's presented by Erie Insurance, and it's going to be this Saturday, June the 29th. I look forward to walking in the parade, which will go from the Zone Dance Club down to Perry Square around noon on Saturday. Next, I'd like to invite up Mike Mailer. Mike is from Erie Gay News and the Northwest PA Pride Alliance. Mike, if you'd come up and give us more information on Saturday's events. Really appreciate it.
Good morning. Everyone, including our straight and cisgender family, friends, and supporters, are very much welcome to join in the many Pride events that are happening this weekend. Saturday will begin with a drag queen story hour at 419 Artifacts at 419 State Street at 10 a.m. This family-friendly event will feature Alice in Wonderland reading classic children's stories, and refreshments and donuts will be served. And after that, everyone is welcome to join Northwest PA Pride Alliance and Erie Insurance for the Pride Parade that will be stepping off from the Zone, which is at 133 West 18th Street at noon. Or you can just come directly to Pride Fest, which is going to be in Perry Square from 1 to 3:30 p.m. We are extremely excited to announce that Pride will be even bigger and better this year, with organizations and businesses in both sides of Perry Square. And of course, no one needs to register to attend Pride. You can just show up. That's awesome. At Pride Fest, there will also be an exhibit of local LGBT plus history that is currently on display at 419 Artifacts. We are already exploring options for a permanent home for this very important initiative. Probably better than having it in my living room. After Pride Fest, be sure to check out both After Pride parties. Greater Erie Alliance for Equality will host an After Pride party at the Bourbon Barrel on the 1200 block of State Street with entertainment and free food, and the Zone will also have an After Pride party with a free food buffet, and both events start at 4 p.m. on Saturday directly after Pride Fest. And Pride will continue on to Sunday, June the 30th with Pride Beyond Understanding by Reverend Charlie Diedrich at the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Erie, 7180 Perry Highway. There will also be the Hill District Pride Brunch Flea from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Peach Street between 24th and 26th Street, and a closing reception for the juried LGBTQ plus art show sponsored by Greater Erie Alliance for Equality, and that's going to be at the Erie Art Gallery, 24 West 18th Street from 3 to 5 p.m. And of course, you can find all of these events and many more at the Erie Gay News website at www.eriegaynews.com. Thanks everyone so much.
Thanks, Mike. I really enjoyed last year's Pride Day, and there must have been like 3,000 people in Perry Square. It was incredible how well attended that was. I'm looking forward to the festivities this year, and I want to invite all Erie residents to come down and join us and celebrate together. To conclude today's press conference, I'd just like to talk a little bit from the heart about the People's Supper process that we've experienced here in Erie over the last 6 months. Tuesday night, we conducted the People's Summit at the Bayfront Convention Center. The People's Summit was the culmination of the People's Supper process, which began in January and involved 80 Erie residents. There were about 20 African Americans, about 20 Hispanic Latino Americans, about 20 New Americans, and 20 white Americans that participated in the process. Over the last 6 months, this group of 80 people participated in 7 meals where they built a very strong mutual respect. The incredible relationships they built enabled them to accomplish 3 things. First, to know and respect each other as people. Second, to understand each other's challenges. And third, to craft 11 possible initiatives to end prejudice and racism in Erie. 200 more Erie Region people became part of this process on Tuesday night at the People's Summit. The evening was divided into 3 parts. Attendees first got to experience a People's Supper conversation while eating dinner. Then they heard the 11 initiatives presented by the different teams that created those initiatives. Finally, after table conversations about the initiatives, they completed evaluations in writing to help us decide how to refine and implement the initiatives. The People's Summit on Tuesday concluded with participants coming to microphones and making specific commitments on what they would do. The level of passionate commitment was far beyond my wildest imagination. I was blown away by it. We can do so much more when all residents in Erie Region are working together. One of the founders of the National People's Supper process is Lennon Flowers. Lennon joined us on Tuesday evening and conducted a lot of the evening. She has been to over 1,400 People's Suppers all across the country. At the end of the People's Summit on Tuesday, Lennon said she had just experienced the most incredible event of her life, like nothing else she had experienced before. So where do we go from here? We are now forming a team which will be called the Better Together team. The Better Together team will include 3 African Americans, 3 Hispanic Latino Americans, 3 New Americans, and 3 white Americans. The team will meet monthly and will guide us on the order and process of implementing initiatives to achieve our goal. And I want to end today's press conference by just very clearly stating what the goal of this process is. Our goal is to end racism and prejudice in Erie throughout the entire region. We want every individual to feel welcomed and accepted for the unique talents and skills that each one of us possesses to add more value to our community. Thanks for joining us today. Everyone who spoke is available for interviews. Thank you.